We're back. Welcome back. Another StryfeSight in the making, or being made, or about to be made. One of those. One of those. Now, this StryfeSight is gonna be Heart, the rock band Heart. I have gone. This is the 8th week. I am still in love with learning about the music, learning about these people that were greats in our past that are still living, some that are not with us anymore. And once again, I will start from the beginning of the journey. We started with Tupac, West Coast hip hop. Then we went to Biggie, East Coast hip hop. Then we went to UGK, Southern Legends. Then we went to the Midwest with Chicago's Twista, fastest rapper to do the rapping, right? Then after that, that was the first 4 weeks. We are into rock, right? We are into rock. The first band I did was Journey. Journey was quite a journey. Journey pun still going. And Journey was quite a journey, you know, the ballad rock kings. Then we did Led Zeppelin. I believe they are the essence or the quintessential form of classic rock. Like when people say rock and roll or classic rock, Led Zeppelin is what they, you know, in my head, that is who they are. They are classic rock, right? And then last week I did Black Sabbath. And they are forefathers of metal rock, which were not as aggressive as I originally thought their instrumentation is. But if you pay attention to some of their lyrics, not so much. Fun stuff to learn, right? And now this week we are on Heart, right? Pioneers, female pioneers of rock, right? So all I have to do is a couple more clickies and I will be ready. A couple more clickies, a little bit of scrolling up on my notes, you know. I took notes all week. I listened to their 15. This is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14 albums. I thought it was 15. I feel like I'm missing one. But maybe I'm wrong. I hope I'm wrong. Maybe the 6, 7s threw me off. Let's throw again. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Actually, I have a YouTube thing. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15. Yeah? I counted 15. So I think I'm missing one. Or I don't know how to count. One of those two. Yeah, I don't know how to count. It was the 6, 7s. Darn you, 6, 7. Messing up my counting. Anyway, let's get into this, right? Let's get into the StryfeSight. I am excited about this, you know, because this is my lady's favorite band. So this is my lady's favorite band. So it is interesting to go through and see, you know, what does she really pay attention to? You know, what drives her towards this music. And it's been quite a fun journey. Now, we will start at the beginning. with Dreamboat Annie. Dreamboat Annie is the first album. We are in 1975. This opens with Magic Man. This is a fun, energetic rock and roll feeling jam. Was pretty cool. Now, Crazy on You. This is the fun mega jam. Crazy on you. We're going crazy on you. I know it's bad. Don't make fun of me. I like the way it sounds. I like the way it's sung. So I'm gonna imitate it sometimes. Just to let you know what's going on. Now, this mega jam is actually about escaping the world's problems with love. It's crazy. Go crazy on you. Stop thinking about hard life and struggles. With love. It's a beautiful concept. Now, this album does have plenty of relaxing vibes. You know, this album felt like a relaxing time in the summer. That was something that I noted. Now, Dreamboat Annie, the self-titled song for the album, is a sort of a rock Cinderella story, like about the sisters, the lead singer Ann and the lead guitarist Nancywilson. So thought that was interesting. I'll be Yeah, I'll Be Your Song. I'll Be Your Song. This is a really beautiful jam. A really beautiful jam, like a ballad about wanting to be loved like music and you wanting to be that person's favorite song. And I was like, oh, that's clever. I like that. It's clever. I like that. Now, there is another concept song. It's called White Lightning and Wine. This is a fun rock and roll song that embodies a hangover anthem. This is a hangover anthem for going to a bar, getting drunk, and having a fleeting, passionate experience. And I was like, okay, we turning up. We turning up. White Lightning and Wine. I want to actually use that in my vocab. If I can remember that would be nice. Now, the hits on this album end up being Crazy on You, Dreamboat Annie, and Magic Man. The feel of this album was quite rock and roll, rock and roll, just groovy and a chill, relaxing feel to the album. I do like the pace and I love the singing. It was nice. My favorite song on this album ends up being White Lightning and Wine because the song just feels very chill and fun. It's totally my vibe. And the concept is actually pretty cool too, as a hangover anthem. But hangover anthem vibes, I like that. My favorite solo on this is on Sing Child Sing. This is at 2:10. It's a fun flute solo, but also a guitar solo. A guitar solo right after the flute solo. It just felt really colorful and vibrant is what it felt like. The instrumentation on this was solid. They had mostly a rock and roll or soft rock kind of vibe, but honestly, the vocalist, she just sounds very relaxing and a very smooth tone to her voice. Honestly, I like it a lot. She actually wins the Stryfe standout for the first album. Little Queen. We moving on to 1977, 2 years after. 2 years after. This opens with the mega jam Barracuda. Barracuda, the fast-paced joint. If you don't know Barracuda, hold on. Let me get my Stryfe imitations ready. My Stryfe sang. Here we go. Let's go. Ooh, Barracuda. Doom digga 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 doom doom. You better know what that is. You better know. And if you don't know, now you know. Barracuda, this is actually, the concept of the song has an interesting spin to it. Apparently, this song was written in response to Heart's record label starting a rumor of Ann and Nancy, the two sisters, having an incestuous relationship. And they started this rumor to, I suppose, help sales, but it's really nasty in my opinion, especially since Ann and Nancy didn't know. The song was actually aimed at a promoter that asked Ann about her lover while insinuating, asking Ann about her lover, insinuating that it was Nancy. And following that, Ann wrote this after being disrespected. She just wrote the word Barracuda, and she just meant it for someone in the music industry that exploits artists. So, the more you know. I had no clue that this song meant anything outside of a fish or a car. I thought it was about a car. I think there's an older car in the 70s called the Barracuda. Let's look that up to confirm I'm not lying. Barracuda car. Yeah. I thought it was about this. Plymouth Barracuda. Yeah, see? And it came out in the 70s. So, yeah, I literally thought the song was about this. But no, it was not. Now, there was a noticeable increase in instrumental passages with the song, the Sylvan song, And there's a song called Love Alive as well. Now, there's a concept song here called Dream of the Archer. This is a relaxed song that is using fantasy to convey the maneuvering through emotional troubles. So I thought that was quite interesting. Now, Little Queen, the self-titled song, is a bluesy, it's like a blues rock, bluesy jam about addressing misogyny in the music industry in regards to a time of tension where their old record label promoted them by scandals and false accusations, like how I was talking about in regards to the Barracuda song. Now, Kick It Out is a fast-paced jam about kicking out your social constraints and kicking out your restrictions so you can truly live like mentally free. I was like, that's I like that. I like that a lot. Now, the hits on this end up being Barracuda, Love Alive, and Little Queen. The feel of this album had a nice groovy rock and roll feel to it, despite there being a number of more slower emotional songs with Treat Me Well, Cry to Me, and Go On and Cry. It doesn't actually drag the mood down or make the album feel sad. The vibe is still relaxed, groovy, and fun, despite the tempo change of some of the slower songs. Now, my favorite song ends up being Little Queen. This is a groovy song. I love the vibe, but I also appreciate their boldness to write and perform their real issues with people and their real issues with misogyny as a whole. And honestly, I'm happy they did, because if people don't broadcast, if the artists as a whole, not just music artists, if they don't speak on the true troubles they go through, sometimes society may not even know about it, or the problems will just continue to be there. So I'm really happy that they actually did. My favorite solo ends up being at Kick It Out, 148. It's a fun and melodic solo. It's the guitar certainly shined in the moment right there, and I was like, ooh, it caught my attention. My eyebrows rose up, and I was like, yeah, I gotta that's the one right there. The instrumentation on this one had vocal leaning instrumentation at the back end and instrument heavy at the front. Alas, I do believe the Stryfe standout goes to the lead vocalist, as I believe they are the feature of the band, and it feels that way, even though I really do like the guitar and the bass as well. Now, next, Magazine. We staying in 1977. Magazine opens with Heartless. This is a groovy jam, groovy, even tempoed jam. It was pretty nice. Devil Delight is the concept of this is a slow hard rock song about personal vices, drinking, drugs, hedonism as a whole that can lead to self-destruction. So I was like, oh, that is quite interesting. That is quite interesting. I feel like I need to turn on the music, and we will do just that. There we go. Got the turtles going, bro. I need to find like a sweet spot for the volume, right? All right. Okay. I think we're good. Maybe. We'll reduce it a little bit more. I want to make sure that I'm heard over the music. Anyway, as we continue on this album, Heartless is a rock and roll jam about life with a cold partner, like with a partner that is disconnected with you, that you are still with. It's actually pretty sad. Now, Without You, the concept of this song is a beautiful, slow love ballad about not being able to function without another. It's beautifully and powerfully sung as well. Now, the self-titled track, Magazine, is a smooth rock song that seems to be about life moving, like the turning of the page of a magazine. I was like, oh, I like that. Turning of a page of a magazine. Now the hits on this end up being Heartless and Without You. The feel of this album has a very relaxed, very chill vibe to it. It's got a bluesy kind of feel, and honestly, just soothing music as a whole. My favorite song ends up being Heartless. This song is it's a really fun high, like I wouldn't say high energy. It's just an energetic, electric-y, super groovy vibe, and I like that. My favorite solo is On Devil Delight at 3 minutes. It's a fitting and emotionally impactful guitar solo. And big fan. The instrumentation on this, was very nice. It was very nice. There was a decent balance of the slower songs and the faster songs, but overall the instrumentation was great. Now, Annwilson does win Stryfe Standout on this one, as her vocals are just soothing and pure and powerful. Love it. On to Dog and Butterfly. We're moving on to 1978. -12 I was. 1978. Dog and Butterfly begins with Cook with Fire. This feels like a classic rock jam. Feels exactly like you're listening to classic rock. And I was like, oh, okay. I like where this is going. Hijinks is a smooth jam about the chaotic and passionate love and connection, along with the playfulness as well. Hijinks is something that I super can relate to. So when I read the definition, I didn't know what hijinks meant. When I read the definition, I want to verify what it refers to boisterous, rowdy, or carefree antics or mischievous behavior. Commonly used to describe playful, rowdy, fun, or lighthearted trouble. I super relate to this. So, like, as a definition. Hey, cat, none of that. What you doing? I don't know what you're doing, but not that. Now, on to the next. Straight on. This is a mega jam. This is about the romantic chase. This is about the romantic chase after losing doubt within yourself. You know, releasing the doubt and just fully chasing somebody that you want as a partner romantically without being dubious of confidence, Now, Dog and Butterfly, the self-titled song for the album, is a smoother and more soothing groove. It apparently was inspired by what is it? I believe it's Nancy or Ann, I'm not sure which one, watching her dog chase a butterfly and relating that to chasing your elusive dreams and never giving up, perseverance. So I was like, oh, that's interesting. Way to get inspired by something you just see and write about it. I'm a fan. Now, this album did have a softer tone to it, once again, though it is not drowning the mood. Like, Nada One and Lighter Touch are slower songs, but like they don't drown the mood into some sort of like sadder, somber album for me. Now, the concept song of Nada One is a slower, emotion-heavy groove about feelings like nothing or nada went away from the one they love. I feel nothing when I'm not with you. That's the kind of vibe, and I can relate to that. I've felt that way before, for sure. Now, concept song, Mistral Wind. This is a deep feeling song with a slower pace, but it is powerfully played. It's a powerfully played song about experiencing a powerful force of nature that changes your life perspective, like a mistral wind. So I can super relate to this because I often say that during the winter, I often feel I'll just say a mistral wind that like blows through my life, and like I realize something new that I should have already known, or something that just gives me a change of perception on either people or those close to me or myself or my relationships or anything like that. So I super relate to the song. It hits hard. Now the hits on this one end up being Dog and Butterfly, the self-titled song, and Straight On. Straight On. This album's feel was very relaxing, but still pretty lively and fun. I am impressed at their ability to make slower songs like Lighter Touch, Not a One, and Mr. Win, amongst others, and not drag the mood down. You know, it is actually impressive. Usually when there are a decent amount of slower songs on an album, it makes the album feel kind of sappy, like sad, somber, like as I said earlier. So I am impressed by that. My favorite song ends up being Mr. Win. As I said, this song just feels very deep and very relative, and some very well. I do very well love the accompanied parts, and it is also my favorite Heart song at this point. Now, my favorite solo ends up being on Straight On, and at 2:20, it is just a unique, colorful, and crafty solo, and I appreciated it. Now, this album's instrumentation was more groovy. I did like the drumming when they got a chance to shine. I did enjoy a decent amount of the bass lines. And Nancy, the guitarist, was really unique and expressive. But the Stryfe standout does go to Annwilson once more. Her voice just draws in my focus and also just soothes as well when I listen in. So, Ann wins again. Next album, Bebe Lestrange. We're moving on to 1980. 1980. This opens with Bebe Lestrange, self-titled song. It's a funky, faster-paced rock and roll jam, you know, about a new female rock persona that is non-binary. It was not stated. This is from an interview, I believe. They interviewed Nancy, and she said this. This is about a female rock persona that's non-binary, a mutated rock creature that is original, confident, and alien-like, akin to Mick Jagger or Elton John. So I was like, oh, that's that's pretty cool. They have created their own persona. It would have been cool if they like used that as a mascot or something. That would have been pretty cool. Now, Down on You is a song about the valleys of a relationship. You know, not the peaks, the valleys, and how you feel when you're just down on somebody, hence the Down on You. Someone, you know, when you're in a relationship and like you just don't feel good about it, about the other person. I feel like it's been a long time since I could relate to that. I've normally liked most of my relationships, but it's a pretty deep, kind of sad song. Silver Wheels is a beautiful short acoustic guitar passage, which I was like, oh, we got passages now. Nice. Now, Rockin' Heaven Down. The concept of this is a even tempo, holy jam about the feel of a live rock performance being so magical it's comparable to the imagined feeling of heaven. I was like, ooh. I like that just because, you know, energy is paramount, you know? So I'm actually impressed with this idea for sure. Now, Strange Night. This is a fun rock and roll feel song that is about losing yourself in one night where you go out and you just have a good and passionate time with a lover to forget and put the trials of life in the back of your head. You know, in the back of your head. And I can get behind that. Sometimes life is just too rough, you know. Now the hits on this end up being Break, Even It Up, and Bebe Lestrange. The feel of this album does have the same relaxed and lively feel to it, although I do start to feel a bit more of the romance in this I do feel a bit more of a tone of romance in this album. I gotta get my words together. Now, my favorite song ends up being Rockin' Heaven Down. This song is it just has a joyous vibe. It feels somewhat heavenly, honestly, because they have like a whole choir singing in it. And it also does have a fun solo just beneath the choir. Now, my favorite solo is at 3:30 of Rockin' Heaven Down. Now, there are vocals that cover up the solo of the guitar, but the guitar is jamming, it's doing all kinds of creative and colorful guitar solo stuff right beneath the vocals. So, 'twas cool. 'Twas cool. Now, the instrumentation of this album was very balanced, but once again, the vocal shine and the guitar shines as well. The Stryfe standout does go to Ann once more for her powerful vocals and being a beautiful impact and potent carrier for the band's sound. Next, we're moving on to Private Edition, going on in 1982. Now, this started with a song called Cities Burning. This is a steady paced rock and roll jam that touches on the opposite reactions to tragedy from men. Men were acting to tragedy destructively, and women were reacting to tragedy in a more frightened way, and the social disconnect that comes from that. Very interesting concept. Now, Perfect Stranger is a rock ballad about a person struggling to connect with others, but also stating that that feeling is temporary. You know, just because you struggle to, connect with people doesn't mean it will always be that way. Next, the self-titled song Private Audition is a blues rock song detailing an audition, maybe a casting scenario where a woman is proving herself to another person. So, thought that was also a pretty interesting concept. Now, this man is mine. The concept song This Man Is Mine is a possessive partner song that is about a woman doing all that she can to keep a man's attention and telling other women to back off of her man. And I'm with it, a little possessiveness, I'm kind of with that sometimes. It just depends on the day, kind of with that. And I do feel like men do that a lot. So seeing this from a woman's side is, I like it. I'm keep it a buck. I'm keep it a buck. We ain't nobody property, right? But what's mine is mine. You understand. You understand. You understand. Now, another concept song is America. This is a ballad about the history of America a little bit, and this mentions freeing the slaves and the South not rising again. This is a very interesting topic of song, and nothing like topic-wise that they've ever really covered. So that was pretty interesting. Now, the hits on this end up being This Man Is Mine and Cities Burning. Cities Burning. Now, the feel of this album had a classic rock, groovy feel to it. I do like the fast-paced songs as they feel pretty groovy, and the slower-paced songs are still more emotionally potent, but they still have a liveliness to them. Now, my favorite song ends up being Cities Burning, Cities Burning. This song just immediately feels very energetic and just fun to listen to. It's got some good energy, and it's got some good energy to it, and it's really my kind of vibe. What is this song? I like this song. This is getting at it. Whoops. You guys didn't see that. But the instrumentation, wait a minute. My favorite solo ends up also being on Cities Burning. This is a lively and creative solo. And it's quite a jam. Now, the instrumentation of this album was decent, and it does still feel like the vocals are focused, but the Stryfe standout for the first time goes to Nancywilson, the lead guitarist, for her colorful play and just jamming groovy style. Just a jammy groovy style. Now, next, we have Passion Works. Passion Works, this starts with How Can I Refuse? This is a fun feeling rock and roll jam, about someone being too alluring to refuse in regards to love. So, now, blue guitar is an interesting concept about one's connection to art and seeing their guitar as a soothing friend that gives great but fleeting feelings. Now, there is a song called Johnny Moon. Now, if you remember, Black Sabbath had a song called Johnny Blade, and now we have a song called Johnny Moon from Heart. This is a smooth ballad about an evasive figure, Johnny Moon, that is someone hard to pin down and something heavily desired follow. Thought it was interesting. Now, there's a concept song, Allies. This song is a smooth rock ballad that highlights the idea of being in a relationship and being supportive to each other when things get tough. Beautiful concept for a song. We need more of those. I like the concept of that a lot. Excuse me. Now, Language of Love is a smooth rock jam, not about love languages, but more so understanding your partner so much to where you speak their actual language of love by supporting them emotionally and getting past the superficial interactions. Another amazing concept. Big fan. Now, the hits on this album end up being How Can I Refuse and Allies. This album felt pretty placid, but still vibrant. Despite it having a decent amount of slower, more emotional songs on the album. My favorite song ends up being How Can I Refuse? It just feels vivacious, and even though the content is a little more serious, I still love the feel. Of it. My favorite solo ends up being Heavy Heart at 2:34. This solo was emotionally fitting for the song, and it just felt very impactful. So it gets the dub. The instrumentation on this album did feel like the vocals and the guitar were the featured play, but other than that, it was pretty balanced. The Stryfe standout goes to Ann, as her vocals are just too vivacious and too placid to my ear. She wins again. Now, next album is Heart, self-titled album. Heart, 1985. Begins with a steady-paced rock jam. If Looks Could Kill. This is about confronting a cheater, confronting a lover that cheated, and wanting them to feel the pain that they caused you through looks. For frame of reference, one of the first lyrics is, "If looks could kill, you'd be on the floor, you'd be begging, please, baby, no more." I was like, ooh, man. The pain, the agony, the scorn. I see it. Now, concept song, The Wolf. This is a steady pace jam that touches on a parasitic person that hides intentions and manipulates. Now, All Eyes is another concept song that is a fun, fast-paced jam about being captivated by the gaze of a partner and being very allured by someone you like, and being very allured by someone's eyeballs. I can relate. That's how I'm here now. Now, concept song, Nobody Home. This is a slow and powerful ballad about realizing that your partner has disconnected with you and moving on, to represent that you will not be home next time they arrive. Really sad. Really sad song. And sometimes people go through these things in relationships, so I'm very certain that it's relevant to someone, but not I, thankfully. Now, what he don't know, this is a concept song that I can admit that I am not a fan of the concept. It is impressive that you can make a song about this, right? But I don't know. The song's called What He Don't Know. This is a song that I loathe the concept of, which I already said, but it is about having an affair or cheating and not telling your partner because you believe that it will spare them the pain, while at the same time admitting that the secret will eventually come to light. Beautifully sung. Pretty shitty though. Now, the hits on this album end up being Nobody's Home, If Looks Could Kill, These Dreams, Never, What About Love, and Nothing at All. Lots of hits on this album. The feel of this album, because of a lot of hits, there were a lot of ballads. This did feel pretty lovey-dovey. Even so, the feel still was vibrant and relaxing at times. My favorite song ended up being All Eyes. This song is just very relevant to me as I'm a big fan of falling in love with the eyes of a person. Very relevant to me, you know. Now, my favorite solo is Shell Shocked at 2 minutes exactly. This solo is pretty short, but it is really colorful, and I'm really starting to enjoy Nancy's style with how she's just very melodic and technical and does it in a lot of short bursts in between vocals and stuff. Now, the instrumentation on this was decent once again. It does feel like the vocals and the guitars are the showcase, but the Stryfe standout does go to Annwilson for being a phenomenal vocal talent and a soothing, inspirational, aspirational, fantastical, vocalational. You understand? Do you understand? She's amazing. She's truly amazing, vocally speaking. Now, next album we got is Bad Animals. Bad Animals, 1987, opens with Who Will You Run To? This is a beautiful ballad about someone asking a partner who they would run to when things go bad. So it's beautiful in a sense that how it was sung, but it is also kind of shitty because it's the partner asking the other partner, who you gonna run to when things go bad? Like, I know I'm the person you gonna run to, like, when things go bad. So, and that's a little on the salty, shitty side, but it was sung pretty beautifully, I'll be honest. Now, There's a Girl. This is a smooth ballad that is about the chase of a girl in the obsessive pursuit, where the girl seems like a diamond, that you really want to have, but is actually a disaster. But as we continue with Bad Animals, this opens with, I already said, Who You Run To, right? And I already spoke about the concept song, There's a Girl. Now we are on Wait for an Answer. The concept of this song is, it is a powerful, beautifully sung rock ballad about waiting for what seems to be an unrequited love, desperately searching and yearning to know where they are. Now, there is a concept song here called Bad Animals, and this is self-titled. This is a self-titled rock jam about being an outsider, breaking societal norms, a bad animal, per se. Now, there's another song, RSVP. This is a smooth love ballad that reverses the roles of pursuit by the woman taking control and setting a destination for a secret rendezvous to have an intimate encounter. It's like, oh, I like that. Sign me up. Now, Now, the hits on this album are Alone and Who Will You Run To, and also There's the Girl. There's the Girl. The feel of this album has a very classic rock feel, but also a placidity to this within the ballads with the emotional potency that they have, but also a vibrant and vivaciousness within their steady pace jams, where they either talk about love or heartbreak, My favorite song ends up being Alone. This is a beautiful ballad that encapsulates how I think of my GF, and how she must have thought of me in the beginning of our encounters. Therefore, the song has one of the highest sentimental values to me. My favorite solo is also on Alone at 2:35. This is just a smooth solo that is very, very melodic and goes very well with the song. The instrumentation of this album, once again, was vocal leaning and guitar leaning. Although the bass and drums are very effective supporting parts for the band, the Stryfe standout does go to Annwilson. These vocal performances are just too potent and too powerful and too memorable. I think, honestly, she may end up being my favorite female rock singer. Welcome out. On to the next album. We got Brigade, 1990. I was zero on this thing. Yeah. Brigade. This starts with Wild Child. This is a classic rock jam about intense passion with a wild partner. Now, the concept song Secret is a smooth rock ballad that is about an intense romance that has to stay a secret, and the stresses of keeping it a secret and the intensity that the passion has due to it being a secret. Nice. I don't know if I can relate to that or not, but sounds pretty nice. Sounds pretty nice. Now, Tall, Dark, Handsome Stranger is a song that starts with the lyrics, "I'm so tired of these men trying to impress me with nothing." That made me laugh, because that's literally the first words that you hear. It is an even tempo jam about a woman being tired of the toxic men and wanting a more gentler, kinder, truthful man in her life. Now, the concept song, "The Night," this song envisions the night as something that captures and something that one belongs to, and something that one feels alive during. So it's an interesting concept, and honestly, probably pretty relevant to some people. Now, Stranded. Stranded is a beautiful ballad that touches on the feeling of isolation if a partner leaves you. Pleading for the partner to not leaving you stranded. So it's pretty nice. Kind of sad, but pretty nice. Concept song, "I Love You," is a very beautiful, soothing ballad that is really just a statement of "I love you." And it is an extremely emotional and potent way to be sung. Extremely emotionally potent. The hits on this one end up being "Secret," "All I Want to Do Is Make Love to You," "I Didn't Want to Need You," and "Stranded." The feel of this album had a groovy and soothing feeling to it, and also relaxing as well, as the rock ballads seem to be very popular, and the rock and roll songs liven up the pace and the feel. So I like the balance that they have going on. My favorite song ends up being "Wild Child" and "I Love You." "Wild Child" is a song that really makes me feel like it's my girlfriend's theme. And I absolutely love the feel of it. Absolutely love the feel of it. And "I Love You" just feels like one of the best genuine ways to hear a song being sung about loving someone. Now, I like that a lot. My favorite solo ends up being on "Wild Child" at 2:30. This is a powerful, emotionally potent guitar solo here, full of creativity. Also, "Wild Child" is how Melody Wild's got her first handle. If you guys know her as Wild Child, it was because of that. Now, the instrumentation on this was great. It was good bass lines, good drumming as usual, fantastic support. The vocals were amazing, of course, but the Stryfe standout actually goes to Nancywilson for stealing the show at times with her radical, creative guitar play. I'm becoming a big fan of her. Now, next album, we move on to 1993, "Desire Walks On." Now, this starts with "Black on Black." This is an even tempo rock jam that is about the greed, passion, and dysfunction of a failing relationship. It's an interesting song to start with. Now, "The Woman in Me" is a smoothing ballad about a woman being able to be fully herself when with a one specific man. It's a beautiful, beautiful song. Another concept song is "Rage." This is a rock and roll joint about societal rage and people consuming rumors and wanting to live like they're in a magazine, and just other societal rages or things that society rages about. Now, "Ring Them Bells" is it feels similar to a soft rock gospel feel. There was a song called "Fallen from Grace" on the last album as well that had this feel to it as well. This ballad is about a call to remembrance and hope, and calling for the innocence to be restored in our world at this chaotic time in apparently 1993. Now, the self-titled song "Desire Walks On." This is a funky rock jam that touches on obsession and passion that is unquenchable. unquenchable passion. The hits on this end up being The Woman in Me, Will You Be There in the Morning? Those are both the hits. The feel of this album had more of a vibrant and funky, higher energy feel, but it still was emotionally potent for the ballads that were beautifully sung. My favorite song on this is Black on Black. This is just has a very electric, high energy to it, especially from the instrumentation. It does just feel very lively, and I love it. Favorite solo ends up being on Rage. This solo bridges from the rhythm of the song and how the song was moving at the time into a pace switch, which I like, that is just very groovy and smooth. The instrumentation on this album was a little different based on me recognizing more of a groovy feel to the album. Maybe more classic rock was implemented. The music does feel a lot of times like it was classic rock, but even though there were a decent amount of love ballads, but the Stryfe standout does go to Nancywilson once more, as their guitar play and skill and creativity has only been growing from album to album, and despite the fantastic vocals every album, I am noticing more from her guitar play. Now, next we have Jupiter's Darling, moving to 2004. So it went from 93 to 2004. I will explain that in the future, or will I explain it now? That's the question. No, I will explain it later after we talk about the album. Now, this opens with Make Me. This is a vibrant feeling jam about wanting a partner to make them feel, to make them go high and make them go low. It's a submissive song, but it is pretty cool. I do notice that their instrumentation was keeping up with the times. Oldest Story in the World is a song that feels very 2000s rock. And I was like, oh, this is dope. And then as soon as I say that, the next song that I hear is a song called Things. This is a country sounding song that I was told was bluegrass. This is one of the first that I've heard that they've made. I know they've made some folk rock, but I'm very certain that this was country. And I asked multiple people, and they said it was bluegrass. And so it isn't bad. The song is about how things are not how they used to be, seeing as it's 2004 and they were born in 1950 and 1954. So that tracks. And also they had been performing for about 30 years at this time. So yeah, things are definitely not like how they used to be from 2005 to 1975. Definitely not. Now, the concept song Enough. Now, this is a song about the distance between more and enough never closing. That is a phrase, is a popular phrase by I have no clue who, but I say from time to time. This song is a soothing rock ballad about the aforementioned statement in regards to a partner wanting so much and obsessing so much. So the question ends up being, what is enough for that partner? Now, there's another concept song, I Need the Rain. This is a softer rock ballad about needing a mental and emotional cleansing. The lyrics, I need the rain to hide my tears, are just one level to show the song's emotional potency. Now, Vanglorious is an even tempo song that is about the excessive confidence that fame could give someone. The hubris of man. Now, another concept song is Lost Angel. This is a peaceful rock ballad that is a call for peace or a call for assistance from a lost angel to help bring peace in these turbulent times. Now, the hits on this album end up being No Other Love and Lost Angel. Now, there was an 11-year break that apparently was from creative burnout. Since their peak was in the 80s, Nancy focused on raising her children and did movie scores for her director husband, while Ann pursued a few solo projects and also had gastric surgery to help with some health issues. So when they returned on this album, Nancy was 50 and Ann was 54. So A little bit of data there. But the feel of this album felt fresh due to the 11-year break. So they sound like a band of the 2000s in some of these songs, which, you know, the instrumentation does sound nice in my opinion. Also, it does seem like they've crossed into country officially, as they did hear what I was told is a bluegrass song. And this just has a relaxing, older feel to it. The album does. Now, my favorite song ends up being I'm Fine. This song is just really fun and just feels really creative and has a fun solo at the back end. Now, speaking of that, my favorite solo is on that same song, I'm Fine, at 2:10. This is a funky and creative and technical kind of solo. It's very nice. The instrumentation on this album does feel very much the same with the vocals leading as a showcase and the guitar second. So, but the Stryfe standout goes to Nancywilson, as her guitar play is still very creative and colorful. It just feels very fun and vibrant to my ear, you know, throughout the whole album. Next album, Red Velvet Car. Red Velvet Car. This opens with a groovy, jazzy joint, There You Go. Now, the concept song here, Red Velvet Car, self-titled song. This is a soothing song about rescuing a loved one from distress and pushing them towards an escape from their hard times. Now, there's another song, Queen City. This is a placid song about their hometown, Seattle, Washington, dubbed as Queen City, where the song reflects how Seattle shaped them and how the music scene is there as well. Now, next concept song is Wheels. This is an even tempo jam about using a romantically passionate night out as a way to escape the pressure of life. That is a classic heart content. Now, this album still has a placid feel. Most of their albums have this style. Their music is really just so chill. Now, there is another concept song, Sand. This is a somber ballad about a relationship coming to an abrupt end and the heartbreak and shock that comes with that. Now, the hits on this end up being Hey You and There You Go. The feel of this did have more of a somber tone with a lively beginning. I believe that is due to the acoustic guitar being a steady reoccurrence as opposed to the electric guitar. Seeming like the acoustic guitar was second to the vocals, which usually the guitar was second. The electric guitar was. So I think that helped with the feel of this album. My favorite song ends up being WTF. What the fuck? This song is just a fun rock jam that addresses ego checking, and I like the vibes. My favorite solo ends up being at 250 of Death Valley. Underneath the vocals, there's some sort of creative guitaring going on, and I like it. I like it a lot. And the instrumentation on this feels as though the electric guitar was replaced with the acoustic guitar as the second most featured instrument, giving things a bit different instrumentation on this. Annwilson gets the Stryfe standout on this album, as her vocals after the 11-year break, they still remain top notch, still soothing, still impactful, and a great listen. Now, last couple albums we got here, we are on Fanatic 2012. Now, this Fanatic begins with the self-titled song Fanatic, which is about being obsessed with love as a whole, despite the negative things that could happen. Now, there's another concept song here, Dear Old America. This is a soothing ballad about Nancy and Ann's father and his military history and what it's like to return from war. So, very interesting concept song. Very interesting. Now, there's another concept song here, Pennsylvania. This is a calm feeling ballad about lost youth or a nostalgic time when a guy is just reminiscent of the past. Now, there's another song called A Million Miles. This is a beautifully sung ballad speaking on the longing of returning home from a lengthy distance, which, as a touring musician, I imagine you might feel a decent amount. Mashallah is a song, I believe that is the Muslim word for praise the Lord. And it's pretty interesting. This is the third, I guess, gospel song that they have, gospel rock song that they've made. So that was interesting. I was not aware that they were somewhat, gospel. But they definitely have a few songs that apply as that. Now, there is another song called 59 Crunch. This is just an electric, energetic song about the crunch sound of the guitar and the way the music feels as a whole. Now, the hits on this end up being Mashallah and Pennsylvania. Now, this album did have a relaxed feel to it with times of energy, energy infused songs like 59 Crunch and Fanatic specifically. My favorite song ends up being Fanatic. The energy just has a rare hard rock feel to it for Heart. They don't typically have a hard rock feel. That song honestly felt hard rock, and I liked it. My favorite solo is also on Fanatic at 155. It's just a funky solo in the middle of hard rock instrumentation, and it just feels great. Speaking of instrumentation, they had fun-filled instrumentation on this album, especially with the steady tempoed songs. The Stryfe standout does go to Nancywilson, though, for her fantastic, energetic guitar play. And we are on, last but not least, Beautifully Broken. Now, this starts with the self-titled song, which is an even tempo jam about a beautiful and broken person. Next concept song is Two. This is a beautiful, placid rock ballad about two people that are each other's home, and it's a us against the world kind of vibe. I mess with it. It's pretty cool. Now, Johnny Moon and Language of Love from Passionworks are on this album re-recorded due to Nancy saying that these two tracks were misunderstood production-wise. Also, Cities Burning and Private Audition are on this as well. They have, these are, I want to say, softer, slower versions with also cooler guitar play. So that was interesting that they recycled those 4 songs, but it was pretty nice to hear different iterations. Concept song I Jump. This is a beautiful ballad about jumping into a new relationship without the fear of hesitation. No, do not hesitate. You jump for love, So they also had another song. I think it says One Word. This was they were interesting re-recordings of other songs, so it was pretty cool. Or not One Word, but Cities Burning and Private Audition, along with Johnny Moon and Language of Love. Yep. Now, the hits on this album end up being Beautifully Broken, Cities Burning, One Word, Language of Love, and Johnny Moon. The feel of this album has a similar vibrant and soft, placid feel to it as a lot of other albums, but more so in this one, sticking to a placid feel. My favorite song is Beautiful and Broken. This song just has a fun feel, and it had a male duet, a male vocal duet, and it felt like a decent touch that it just hadn't been done. They haven't used any males, and that is typically fine, but it was the one that they used for this was a nice touch, in my opinion. My favorite solo was on Cities Burning at 2:35. It is a very vivacious, short, and impactful solo. I was a fan. The instrumentation on here, there was solid instrumentation, and there was a decent balance and pace. Nancywilson does win Stryfe Standout on this one due to the colorful, technical, engaging guitar play. Yes, due to all of those. All right, now, dun, 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 dun. Hello.
Hello.
Hey. It's
You ready for me?
yes, indeed. It's your time to shine.
Oh, I don't know about all that.
Yeah. Welcome to stream. Welcome to stream. I wonder. I'm gonna have to check your vocals. Either you're gonna have to sit in my chair, or I'm gonna have to scoot your chair closer.
Either way is fine.
Yeah, because I don't want you to just stand over me. Whatever. I mean, you could, but I haven't thought of the location. Da-da-da-da. It's a kitty cat. It's a kitty cat.
Hello.
What do you think you want to do? I guess we're scooting. I'll let you scoot it more. Watch out, your mouse is
I see.
drooping, dripping, dropping. One of those.
Ta-da.
Ta-da! You made it.
Oh, I forgot my phone.
Oh,
It's okay. I
Did
don't
you-
think I need to look.
you know? Are you sure about
I don't
that?
think- I don't think so.
Uh-oh.
I don't think so.
Okay, so I have Melody Wilds here.
Hello.
Melody Wilds here for the purpose of detailing that this is her favorite band. So I have a few questions for her that I want to hear from her perception. This is not pre-planned. I did let her know there are questions, but I have no clue what she's going to say. So let's hear. I got some questions I'm going to read off of my phone like a real interviewer. So, why is Heart your favorite band?
I don't know. It's an emotion kind of thing.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. So you do know.
Well, yeah. I mean, it's nothing very specific. I just have always vibed with them really hard.
Okay. Okay. Just there's nothing wrong with that. Vibes and music and emotions
Mm-hmm.
are all connected. You know, I like that. I like that. So, how would you describe the feel to them that you get when you're listening?
Well, so that depends on the album, the song. So depending on the feeling that I want to have, I'll go for different albums or different songs. I have always loved their power ballads for like driving in the car, like singing really loud with the windows down, that kind of thing. But
Okay.
then like their lullabies are really emotional. So it just depends.
Okay. That does make sense. That does make sense. What are your give me a list of some of your favorite songs and why?
Like,
Yeah.
how many?
Just give me like 3 to 5.
Okay. Who would you run to? I love that one. It's very powerful. It's very emotional, and I think that she captures the emotion of like being what feels like unjustifiably jilted. So I love that. I love Dog and Butterfly. Just for like the tender feelings of it all. What else? Magic Man is so funky.
Yeah.
Um,
And it is definitely about me.
Sure. You know, fine.
I am a magic man. But yeah, it's a magic man who you run to and Dog and Butterfly.
There are others, but there's too many.
Yeah. I can imagine that. I did add 30 plus songs on my rock playlist from this experience.
Good.
So there is that.
All Eyes. What was that one that I? Damn, I don't even remember what it's called.
Uh-oh. Just saying it out.
Anyways.
Anyways. All right. What is your favorite part of their instrumentation? You know, like the vocals, the bass play, drumming,
Definitely
guitar.
vocals.
But why?
I love singing along to it. I'm like relatively within her range, except for the highest stuff. So it's always been really fun to sing along to. And also the versatility of it, that she does so many different styles throughout her musical career. So that.
Okay, I see. That is interesting. What is you have a favorite album and why?
I have two.
Okay.
The Dog and Butterfly album.
Okay.
And the Heart album.
Yeah. Self-titled.
Yes. The Dog and Butterfly album is very much, it has a lot of their older stuff and a lot of their lullabies. And the Heart album, I feel like, has the widest range of their power ballads. Oh, Nobody Home. That was the other one. It was, so for a long time, that song was really hard to find. And it was my favorite one. So whenever I felt like listening to it, I would have to pull it up specifically on YouTube.
Yeah. As we do with music. We pull it specifically on YouTube. I just downloaded all of my favorite, like the whole albums from on Apple Music, and that was not one of the ones that I could find. So that makes sense because you were using Apple Music.
It made me really mad because I couldn't just like add it to playlists.
Oh man. Cool Nerd asks, did you already do kickboxing today?
I did not. Or maybe I did because I worked with Tom.
How about we not?
We're editing this part out.
Anyway, how would you explain if you were to recommend Heart to someone?
I would definitely use the words. I would use the word versatility, because they have such a wide range of, like I said, like different vibes that you want to listen for.
Right.
Power ballads, power rock, arena rock, all those, but like with a lot of emotion. And I feel like maybe this is me being sexist, but having two women like front people, I feel like really helps with the emotion of it all.
I could definitely see that. Nothing wrong with that. It's not too
but in
sexist.
a good way.
Okay. Not in a toxic way.
Women are emotional in a good way.
Yeah, clean that up.
Except for when she took her husband's side instead of,
whoa. We're not talking about that.
Instead of her sister.
All right. And last question. I need you to give me a story in your life where a Heart song fits, or a time in your life where a Heart song just felt very important to you at the time you were at in your life.
So for me with Heart, it's always been a very, very, very much overarching love. So it's really hard to tie any specific song to any specific instance of my life. But there's a lot of just like thinking about how I used to listen to them to fall asleep, or listen to, like, I would have Heart CDs that I would play in my car while I was driving really loud with the windows down and that kind of stuff. So it's hard to pinpoint. But like I've felt the feelings of Who Will You Run To and These Dreams, and like I love feeling the ethereal lullaby feelings of some of them. Like sometimes I'll just, walk in the woods and listen to them feeling like a little witch or a fairy, It's dinner time.
For the cats.
So, yeah, it's hard to pinpoint stuff for that.
Yeah.
Long story short.
Okay. So you're gonna answer
No, I'm not going to answer. I plead the fifth.
Wow.
Just kidding.
Okay. Well, darn. Okay. Well, that was cool. I don't know if you'll leave or not, but I have just this little conclusion here to go through, and then I will be done.
Okay. I have like less than an hour left on my audiobook, so I am going to leave and go finish spinning.
Okay.
And perhaps finish this book.
Okay. All right.
Have fun.
Thank you.
Thank you.
All right. Now, let's talk about band drama. Ooh, now that she's gone, we can start talking shit about her band. Yeah. No, not really. That is not what we're doing. But I am going to speak about the drama that they ended up going through. Now, Ann and Nancy, being pioneers of female-led rock bands, they faced sexism by executives that told them, executives when they started in 75, that told them that women couldn't front a hard rock band. So we proved that's false. Also, their label, Mushroom Records, ran an ad campaign implying an incestuous relationship between the two sisters. Why? Because they thought that they needed that to sell, and the music itself wouldn't be great enough, I guess. And then in 1980, keep in mind that they had Dreamboat Annie, which was a hit in 75. They had Little Queen, which was a hit in 77. Along with Magazine in 77. Dog and Butterfly in 78. So they had all of these. And in 1980, the label tried to get Hart to use external writers and producers rather than use their own creative ideas in order to accomplish a more commercial sound. So, and also, Nancy has also said, despite the pressures to divide them, their relationship was always first. You know, with Anne acting as a protective force versus the industry demands. So that was an interesting drama that they went through, for sure. Now, with the hits like Barracuda, Crazy on You, Alone, These Dreams, Without You, There's a Girl, Straight On, they have a ton of variety that people would know them for, you know, these global jams. Now, their feel was mostly vibrant but placid or groovy, but emotionally intense at times, but ultimately relaxing as well. I am only going to say this because it makes sense in my brain. You can agree or disagree, but the feel of the band at times gave me an Erykah Badu / Sade kind of feel. In a sense of Anne as a singer having such a soothing but impactful voice that could truly relax you depending on the song, in a similar way that Erykah and Sade can do that to me. Anne is a very talented and a vivacious voice for sure. Now, my favorite songs end up being Mistral Winds, Alone, Straight On, Wild Child, There's a Girl, and I Love You were the songs I liked the most in order. Although I did add about 30 plus songs from Heart on my rock playlist. Now, and my favorite album ends up being Dog and Butterfly because I added, I believe, 5 songs from that album. So pretty much half of it, or maybe more than half. Now, the instrumentation honestly was great, although I hyper noticed the vocals and guitar play as the feature of the band, you know, usually with solid supporting drumming and bass play. The Stryfe standout actually goes to both Anne and Nancy, as they both had me engaged on either one of them the majority of the catalog. Anne from the beginning was just a top tier voice with impressive, soothing, powerful vocals, and Nancy's guitaring was creative from the start, but I certainly noticed as the albums passed, her skill was just gradually growing, which made me enjoy her guitar play more in the later albums. So, Straight On, Follow the Mistral Wind, To Not Be Alone, With Nobody Home. I Want to Turn Your World, With These Dreams, You Won't Be Heartless, I Won't Go Crazy on You, unless you don't go kick it out and listen to the soothing, vivacious, but powerful heart. StryfeSight done, baby.